I look back on when I was younger and think about all the times where I could have shot my shot, and then I wouldn't have been single until the age of 23 years old. I'm still single right now, by the way, and have been for over a year, but that's not important. What I'm saying is that you never score if you don't shoot Mikhail Gregory Antonio. And he had a chance to win this game today, fumbled it at the last minute, but it's nothing to be pissed off about because we still got a valuable point out of it, and Spurs fans are rattled. So, happy Tuesday, everyone. It finished West Ham United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 1 at the London Stadium. The points are shared in the East End of London in a game that was a fair result with all things considered. If you take into account that West Ham did not bring on any substitutes and that Spurs tried to go more attacking in the later stages of the game, you would see that things could have gone really in another team's favour. Spurs definitely had more possession than West Ham, and West Ham just played that dirty, filthy Moyes terror haram ball throughout the whole of the game. Less possession, but made it count a little bit more. Tottenham seemed to give the ball away to West Ham quite a lot, and it was their attackers, mainly Maddison Johnson's son, who were giving the ball away quite a few times. So that helped West Ham a lot. We counted quite a bit in the game, just didn't come to make it work though. And we got a valuable share of the points to go back up to 7th. It's a good result, really, if you consider what happened against Newcastle. The reason why I've just done that is because I've just got a little bit of flashback, and also because it's an improvement. 1 point's better than none. Starting lineups then. So we had Fabianski in goal because Areola had a groin strain. Sofal Emerson as the right back and the left back respectively. Same defensive pair as Zuma and Dinos. Ward-Prowse, Soucek in the midfield pair. Same attack line as usual. Paquetá, Kudus, Bowen, Antonio. No real need to make some major changes for Spurs. Mickey van den Ven was back. Bentancur was starting in the game, as was Timo Werner. Spurs took the lead on the 5-minute mark through Brennan Johnson. Not really a case to say that this is offside. But Werner passes across the goal. Johnson taps it in from close range. I thought that Sofal could have done a lot better in this sense to defend the ball and get closer to his man. He didn't though, and that's what caused the first goal to be scored. Spurs fans then silenced the whole of the West Ham supporters with that, going into raptures. If we had a better defence though, we wouldn't allow these balls to come in so easily, and we'd be a little bit more on our man than what happened there. Sofal had a bad game against Newcastle. He wasn't helping himself here by being partly responsible for conceding this goal. He's not doing himself any real favours in that sense. Our midfield was actually a little bit better than this game. And I want to just say an apology before I continue. In a recent tweet, I did say that James Ward-Prowse was flop of the season. I was tired. It was late at night when I said that, and I didn't mean to say it, actually. I just couldn't say Phillips again in the same sentence. But he has been our worst signing, Calvin Phillips, obviously. James Ward-Prowse had a better game. More focused, more aware of the ball, stayed in his position for a lot more time, and made a lot of interceptions and good passes. I think he played his role a lot better in this, in all honesty. West Ham had some spells of pressure, really, and tried to get something out of this. The equaliser came just before 20 minutes when Jarrod Bowen whipped in a corner and Kurt Zuma's back put the ball into the net. There's an argument that Antonio was fouling Vicario. He wasn't. You're allowed to distract the player, but you're not allowed to impede them. And Antonio was judged not to have impeded the Italian shot stopper. So it was 1-1. The ball came off of Zuma's back, actually, off of his shirt number and into the net. 4 more of those, I was thinking, because Kurt Zuma wears number 4. But I can dream. Defence began to wake up a little bit more, started to get tighter onto Spurs. The finishing was pretty poor for a lot of the time. James Maddison was struggling in this. I know that Pedro Porro came very close when his effort skimmed across the goal. But West Ham started to become a little bit more focused, to tap the ball a bit more. Got a few more balls into the box and seemed to put mass bodies into a box when a cross came in. That was an attempt to throw Spurs off a little bit. Half-time whistle blew and it was still 1-1. Wasn't really a bad half. In the second half, Antonio tested Vicario, very early on and forced a save from him. Paquetá was over the bar, and when that ball was leaving his foot, I thought it was going into the top left corner. You would have thought that anyway. I'm not saying Paquetá was awful in the game because every single player contributed to his own. But what annoyed me is that Paquetá was trying all these long-distance shots and none of them came even close to getting near the net. Some of his decision-making was a little bit rash. It's like he was, spiting his nose to hide his face as such. West Ham got the ball because Spurs attackers passed it to him a lot. I say it again. Just a lot of silliness in that sense from them losing possession too often. Antonio even then went through on goal, and despite slipping up a few times, he had a clear-cut chance and fired straight at the goalkeeper. You got to score that, man. You have got to score that. I said shoot your shot. Wayne Gretzky vibes. West Ham didn't have most possession, but were defensively a lot better. And even though Spurs brought on lots of substitutes, they put on Richarlison even to attack us a bit more, he didn't do much in the game. And it finished 1-1. All things considered, it's a good point. And I'm okay with it, in all honesty. The good news now is that Edson Alvarez is going to be back for Wolves. So, happy days in that sense. I don't really have to be forced to watch Calvin Phillips. Or do I? Or do I? Antonio lasted a full 90 minutes, though. Yeah, that's a good point. Danny Ings, I think, was going to come on. I thought he was going to put on Danny Ings, Moisey. And then we go two up top. Would have made more sense because we could attack them when we wanted to. But with less possession of the ball. So, weird thing, really. I would have brought on some subs in all honesty, but 1-1, can't moan about it.